Hari Om. Let's start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Navami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanora Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We are looking at the Mahavakya Tattvamasi statement, and according to the Advaitic tradition, you have to reject the contradictory qualifications of the Tat and Tvam. Tvam means I am, so I am. Normally we know I am this. So when I introduce yourself, you say I am this. So I am a conscious entity, exist entity, and this inert entity. So there is a confusion in that, in the very statement as I am this, and that's what is called ego. Ego is ahankara, is nothing but I am equal to this. So I am taking all this as I am, but this is mine and now I am this, and that's what the confusion arising, because a conscious entity cannot be unconscious entity. So when I claim myself as an unconscious entity, because I do not know my true nature, therefore I am taking what I am not as I am. Therefore scripture comes to our rescue. You are taking yourself what you are not, and that's why the consequence of that is you are suffering, because the limitations of the body and mind and intellect have become my limitations, and therefore I don't like the limitations, but intrinsically I am infinite, and taking the Desha Kala Vastu Parichinnatvam of the body, mind, intellect as my Parichinnam, that means my limitations, and therefore I don't like it, therefore I have to solve into making it infinite by adding another finite things. That's whole life after life after life, and samsara comes into picture when I take what I am not as I am and suffer the consequence of that misunderstanding. And therefore scripture is coming to our rescue. It's not for scripture for fun. It is scripture is helping us to know that you are unnecessarily suffering. You are of the nature of pure ananda, pure consciousness itself. There is no reason for you to look for ananda, look for depend on something other than yourself for your happiness. That is the problem, and therefore solution is being pointed out for the fundamental human problem, and that's why the scripture becomes important to go through the samsara, because not only this life, we have been going through many lives and lives without knowing what we are, and therefore it is trying to uplift us, and so that we can solve the problem right here and right now by proper understanding of who I am. For that only Bhagatyaga Lakshana is required in order to understand the scripture. So why do I have to use this kind of language and this kind of Bhagatyaga? Why can't I take up a word meaning or other meaning that Ramanuja uses or Madhvacharya uses? This scripture itself is pointing that out, because in the very statement of Uddalaka, in going through analysis, he goes through step by step. Before he introduces the Sat aspect, he went through Eka Vijnanena Sarva Vijnanam Bhavati. Knowing one thing, you can know everything. Knowing the Karanam, the material, Upadana Karanam, you know all the products. Products are nothing but the Upadana Karanam from which it came. Products are Karyam, are nothing but the Karanam itself, cause itself, in varieties of names and forms. And names and forms are only superficial, therefore Vacharambanam Vikaro. So Lohamicheva Satyam, you have to go the essence from which it came, that is the reality. All that is being introduced before and then introduce the topic. So I have to reject Vacharambanam Vikaro, means when I say ring and the bangle are equal, I have to reject Bhagatyaga Lakshana in order to see the essence, that is the goal. Same way I had to reject. So Bhagatyaga Lakshana has been pointed out indirectly by the scripture itself when arriving at the statement that the essence of the whole universe is nothing but Tat, Sat only, and that Sat is Aitadatmam Vidagam Sarvam Tat Satyam Sa Atma. savigneya. That has to be understood also. So that is being pointed out. So bhagatyaga lakshana is being pointed out by the scripture itself in one form or the other. And that has to be used. Bhagatyaga is same as jaha ajahal lakshana. So not jahati lakshana or ajahati lakshana, jaha ajati lakshana. So where I have to use both rejection and equating the essence of it has to be done. And we discuss in terms of how does the Madhvacharya interpret. We already mentioned he puts I in front of Tattvamasi because he doesn't want to accept that Brahman is the material cause. So in Madhva philosophy, Brahman is not a material cause. So therefore, we can reject the whole theory itself. There is no point in discussing even the Dvaita philosophy. And the Ramanuja accepts the Brahman as the material cause. Then how does they interpret this statement, Tattvamasi? He uses also Samanadhikaranam. The Advaita also is called a Samanadhikaranam. So Samanadhikaranam we discussed before in terms of what exactly is involved in terms of Brahmarpanam, Brahmavi also. Samanadhikaranam means equal emphasis for the words. That's what Samanadhikaranam means. So Tattvamasi means Tat and Tvam. Equality is being, emphasis in terms of the equality is being pointed out. So how does Ramanuja interprets this? He says Visheshana Visheshabhyam Samanadhikaranam. So they are Samanadhikarana only in the sense of one is Visheshana and another is Visheshya. So these are inseparable and being pointed out. And example is this blue lotus. Blue is one word, lotus is other word. They are used in the same the vibhakti, blue lotus, but at the same time one is the quality, another is Shesana, another is the Visheshya or the locus of the quality. So they are two completely separate. At the same time they are not separable. You cannot remove the blueness and leave the lotusness there. So blue lotus, blueness has to reside with the lotusness. It cannot be separate. At the same time, blueness is different from lotusness. So blueness is a quality of that particular lotus. There may be another red lotus or white lotus or some other. So therefore blueness is only an attribute of the lotus, but inseparable attribute. The attributes cannot be separated by the Visheshya. So therefore these are being used. So they, in the same way, Tattvamasi means you are Visheshana of the Lord. Tvam, Tat is the totality. That means total is one, and in that there are several attributes. There is a blueness of the lotus. There is a different, the lotus are smooth or a big, all other different attributes are there for the lotus. It's a blue big lotus, blue small lotus. So different attributes. Blueness is different from bigness or smallness, and lotusness is different from blueness and smallness. So therefore these are Visheshanas for the lotus. Lotus is the essence, that is the substantive. The Visheshanas are only qualifying it, and qualification depends upon their varieties of qualities for that lotus, and that all to be understood. And this Tattvamasi is also made in the terms of Visheshana Visheshabhyam Samanadhikaranam. But if you really follow the whole Chandogya 6th chapter, they are not talking about Visheshanas, it is about one became many. It itself appearing as many, but there he uses this many is only from the subtle to a gross, as the Ramanuja interprets. Therefore, he uses the material cause of the Brahman. He himself is a material, and the material is consisting of all the jivas, and the Jagat in a subtle form is manifested in a grosser form. That's the only creation. Out of compassion, Lord creates so that the jivas can at least this time surrender themselves and realize me or come to me. And that's what is the purpose of the creation according to the Visishtadvaita. And according to Advaita, it is Samanadhikaranam is Bhagatyagena Samanadhikaranam. By rejecting something, they are equated. So equally Samanadhikaranam, Tat and Tvam, essence is equal, but only superficial things have to be rejected. So Bhagatyaga Samanadhikaranam also is being used. So both use Samanadhikaranam, both Madhvacharya, both Shankara and the Ramanuja uses Samanadikaranam in a different way to arrive at different meanings for the same Tattvamasi statement. So with that understanding, now we go into the contemplation of Brahman. This is in the 250. Now few slokas are done, and from there we go into the meditative slokas of the Brahman itself. Astulamacceta dasannirasya astulamicceta dasannirasya siddham swato vyomavat apratarkyam siddham swato vyomavat apratarkyam Ato mrushamatramidam pratitam jahi yat swatmataya gruhitam. So this astulam, remember astulam includes astulam, this is ananvayam, akhrasyam, adhirgam, all other qualities that I can put off, none of them belong to. So astulam iti etad asat nirasya. So all that is rejected. Astula means the gross part and all other attributes of everything in the objects have to be rejected because they are the mithya iti. They are iti etad asat nirasya. All that because they are false. Asat here is mithya here. They are really the falsely, because they are seen, experienced, but they are not really real. So anything that is experienced is only Dvaita. I cannot experience Advaita. Meditation, I have to meditate on Advaita. You cannot meditate on Advaita. You have to meditate on the Dvaita, saying that that's not real, and that becomes a meditation. So neti, and shift your mind in terms of that, because of which I am able to see. That's what. So you have to reject looking at my hand. You reject neti. Neti means not the hand. I am seeing the hand, but it's not the really hand that I am seeing. What I am seeing is the light reflected by the hand. So I have to focus on that because of which hand is seen, but it's not the hand. So that's how neti has to be used also. This is simple example, but a profound example from the science point also, because we do not see object as an object, because form of the object belongs to the hand only. So I cannot get the form and leave the hand there. So Vishesha cannot be separated. What I am seeing is the light, reflected form of the light of the hand. So light falls on the hand, and not the form, original form still stays with the hand. Only the reflection of the form is what comes to the eyes, to the retina. So it's the reflected attributes of the object only I am seeing it, because attributes belong to the object only, and I cannot separate the attributes from the object. So therefore I had to properly understand asatyam here is, it is not really real or absolutely real. Siddham swataha vyomavatu. It is like I am absolutely real. Siddham swata siddham. I am existent by myself. I do not depend on my existence on something other than myself. So this has to be clear. Every object, existence of every object, I have to confirm it. Not that I am creating the object, but to say whether the object exists or not, unless I say it is, the existence of the object is indeterminate. It may be there, it may not be there. So we gave an example. Is there a chair in the other room? It may be there, it may not be there. So how do you know? I have to go there and see through my eyes and confirm whether the chair exists or chair doesn't exist. So existence or non-existence is, right now it is only 50% of probability. That means chair can exist or chair doesn't exist. But the probability has become a deterministic only when consciousness comes into picture. Only when I see means I am a conscious entity, confirm that I am conscious of the existence or non-existence of the chair. So only the existence is confirmed and the confirmation depends upon the conscious entity, whereas The existence of a conscious entity doesn't depend upon anything, including any other object also, and including the scripture also. Mine, I am conscious entity. Even in a pitch dark room, people say, are you there? Yes, I am there. How do you know? So how do you know? I know because my existence and my consciousness, I don't need any means of knowledge. It is aprameyam. Therefore, I am self-existing. So siddham swataha. It says vyomavatu. Say apratarkyam. So vyomavatu apratarkyam. So it is not. Apratarkyam is unimaginable. Here imagination is tarkyam. So it is vyomavatu, unimaginable. So what is the vyomavatu? Vyomavatu is like a space. Space, like a space, it is the unimaginable, means it is infinite. What is the limitation of the space? There is where is the space is not there? Infinite. Why space is infinite? If there is finite, then you ask what is there on the other side also. So other side, if there is other side, there is a space there. Space is that which accommodates. That's how the akasha. Akasha means that which provides avakasha. Is that akasha? Akasha also means indirectly in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the Brahman is defined as Akasha because Akasha means Akasha. That means it is of the nature of effulgent, that is essentially the Jnana Swarupam, and that's also being Akasha. So Vyomavat here, Vyomavat is also from the point of the space which is self-existing and not self-revealing in the sense of it is inert. So how do I know there is a space? So there's a big discussion in the epistemology. Says I can see the space, I cannot really see the space. If there is no object in the space, I will not be able to see the space also. I see the star is somewhere because there is an object out there. There's a distance now comes into picture. So space is the distance between two objects that I am seeing. That's how I define a space. So space is when two objects I see simultaneously, a gap between the two is defined as a space. So when the two objects exist, then space gets defined. When two sequential events occur, then time gets defined. In the same way, space and time are needed two things. That's why in the deep sleep state, I have no concept of space and time also, because there are no two things. There is only one. So one cannot define the space. So I cannot perceive the space. Some Acharya says Sakshi will know. Neither Sakshi will know or anybody will know. Unless there are two simultaneous observations of two entities are there, then I cannot define the space. So if there are Vyomavatu, it is completely here Vyomavatu by the apratarkyam, that which is unimaginable, infinite, is that same way. This is also Brahman means infinite. So this is limitless, is the nature of the Aham. Ato mrushamatramidam pratitam jahihi yat swatmataya grahitam. So how should I know that I am Brahman? Ataha mrushamatramidam pratitam. So idam pratitam. This everything that I see, idam pratitam, everything that I see here, this has to be considered as mrusha, means it's essentially mithya. Mithya means it is neither the real, not unreal. It is not real, it's not a Brahman, it's only name, but it's not unreal because I'm experiencing it, because I say idam, this. So it is experientially real, but not absolutely real. So mithya means sadasat vilakshanam, that which is neither real nor unreal, but which becomes apparently real, and that's essentially what is called the mrusha matram idam pratitam jahihi yat swatmataya gruhitam. So one has to, jahihi means give up all attributive contents and recognize that I am the very essence, as a pure existence. I exist in terms of the varieties of objects, and as a consciousness I am conscious of the existence of everything in the world. So both as an existence and consciousness that I am, that is Atmataya, as I myself, and that's what is being defined in the Turiyam in the Mandukya Upanishad. What is that? Anta pragyam na bhai pragyam no bhayata pragyam na pragyanaganam na pragyam na pragyam na pragyam na pragyam, and that which is adrusyam and agrahyam and so on and so forth. This is the Avyapadesam, this Ekatma Pratyasaram, Prapanchopasamam, Shantam Shivam Advaitam Chaturtam Manyante, Sa Atma. That is Atma, which is essentially Jahi, by giving up all other attribute aspects which are only for Nama Rupa, and claim myself, I am that. And in the next two slokas, he is talking about the Brahma Swarupam using the Chandogya Upanishad, and that will go into the next talk. With this we stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.